Namaste, Daaji.
Namaskar, Vindhya.
How are you?
Very well, and you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. So, Daaji, in the previous episodes, we spoke about spirituality, meditation, and in this episode, we would like to talk something about the lifestyles of human beings. So, in this, I would like to ask you one question that every human being these days is very, very busy, extremely overloaded with work, family, and other activities as well. So, the one major problem what we find regularly is stress. So what do you have to say about it and how can we manage it in our lives?
Well, stress has always been there. Would you like to go out and hunt for a goat or a deer or, raise some foods for you? Do you have to worry about that in this modern age?
Yeah.
I don't think so. The extra time that we have, what are we using it for? So what are we using our times that we are getting? Security also is not so bad as it used to be just a few hundred years back. One has to become wiser, I would say, in understanding what do you really want out of life. The simple purpose of human life is, to me, is to do things better and better all the time. Instead of myself competing with others and frustrate myself in the process, I should be competing with my personal achievements. If I could play the flute yesterday and there were clappings on the stage, people were going gaga over my flute performance, next time when I play, even if I play to the same vigor and interest and I will still not be happy because I would like to surpass my previous performance. Would you call this as ego? No. But if I say, okay, I'm going to do better than somebody else, then it's ego arising out of competitive feelings. It is precisely this competition arising out of to prove yourself better than someone else creates tension. When we are really competing with ourselves, we are not stressed. In fact, we are happier. Yes, I like to achieve this. There is joy in achievement.
That you're growing more day by day?
That is true. See, ego manifests in so many ways. When you say, let me outperform myself, I will do better than what I did yesterday, and you pride in yourself. See, this is called pride. Of course, it's an offshoot of ego. Also, when you say, okay, I can do this, this is my ability. There is no ego about it also, though it reflects ego at some level. When you say, I am so-and-so, I am PhD, there is no ego about it.
Yes.
But when you say, there is nobody other than myself who can play better flute, or nobody is better than my PhD thesis, or nobody is better than myself, then it is blatant arrogance. All three are manifestations of ego. Yet one will take you in a right direction where you can evolve yourself and abilities. Other one will hurt the whole society, starting with oneself first. See, so the lifestyle, I think, is suffering today because we are trying to compete with others. And if you are only competing with ourselves in achievement, then society will be a lot happier.
So Daaji, here I have a question, like we can find it in many homes. Our parents will teach us always, the boy next door is getting so many marks compared to you. Right from the childhood we were brought up like that. So what do you have to tell it to the parents? Do you have to say anything for them?
Precisely this, let him do better than what he was doing. We have to inspire our children, okay, but not by giving wrong examples. You see? Even, for example, negative elements in society, gundas and mafias and terrorists and these hoarders of grains, so black marketeers, they have a great unity. One fellow in Assam says, let's stock so many quintal of tea. And he calls up everybody all throughout India. There is some sort of unity even amongst his black marketeers. Terrorists have even greater unity. One phone call from one country to another phone call, and how they share each other informations. It's amazing. If I can make one good bomb, I share the information with somebody else. But amongst good people, saintly people, good-hearted people, even with parents, when somebody says, oh, to a newborn child, when praising a newborn, and you say, oh, his nose is like mother, and father feels bad. And if somebody says, oh, her nose is like father, the mother will start fighting. Or whatever it be the reason, you see. For good things, you are fighting. A rich man says, I will not share my wealth with others. But the terrorist will, because his goal is different. To him, it's a noble goal. For a person with wealth, he doesn't think it's a noble goal to share. Yeah. He wants to hoard, and hoard. So there is a problem with good people.
Okay.
So would you call them good people?
No.
This is our society today.
Thank you so much for that. That's a wonderful answer. So now I would like to ask you, can you please explain us about the concept of Upavasa? So how is it actually significant in our day-to-day lives?
Oh. Well, when you analyze this word Upavasa, up and vasa. Up means above, vasa means to stay. Right? When my manas, my entire consciousness is in tune with the higher being, to remain there all the time, mentally, consciousness-wise, then I would call it that's a true upavasa. See? The fasting as we understand today, not taking food, etc., just be on liquids or on limited diet, mainly fruits only, it has also a purpose, but it has no religious connotation behind. We made it like that so that people out of fear would obey that, yes, I have to fast. Okay. See, it has mainly a health reason. I give a simple example. Take a child to a seashore and every day let him measure the water levels. Take 15 sticks, stock them up, green, all different colors. On first day, you put a stick where the water is. Second day, you put it, because the water level will go on changing. Yeah. I put the sticks. And you'll have all 15 levels or 30 levels of water levels. Now you ask your child, why is it so? Somebody is adding water into it? Or somebody is taking away water. It is going up and coming down. How is this happening? Then you think about what is the position of moon in relation to this water. Then the child will say, oh, when it is the full moon, the water comes nearest to the road. So we slowly teach them the water rises. Okay. When our body composition is almost 80% or more than that, this lunar impact is also there on our system. Water cannot come out of the system, but it creates a tension within. See? Just as, if there was no open boundary in the sea, what would have happened when the water is rising? What happens to that vessel? There will be under tremendous pressure. Likewise, you know the term lunatic. How does it come from? It is the effect of lunar, the moon, on the mind of a person. It creates such an extraordinary impact in our body system at various levels, starting with blood pressure. And it becomes more and more noticeable as the physiological system of a person is compromised. If a person is healthy, he is able to combat it. Right? But people who are so weak or on the verge of always falling sick, they will have the lunar impact in full blow. This can be measured actually from 8th day if you start measuring the micro changes in the blood pressure, moods, so many other things. You can notice the rising of blood pressure starting from 8th day till 15th day. And in between there is, if you fast, you can nullify this impact. On 11th day. That's how the tradition of Ekadashi came into our culture. But when we tie it up, oh, if you don't do Ekadashi, God will be, He will not be pleased. But this is how our people listen. If you give them carrot, they will surely do it. If you give them a stick, they will surely do it. Our religion has taught us how to corrupt ourselves. Bribery. Go do something to God. Put some money in the hundi, as if God will come down to take that money from the hundi. Or some diamond jewelry is in the hundi. Or some coconuts or bananas and fruits. Who eats them? Does God come down to eat them? Why are we wasting our time and money and resources? It would have been better you give it to food, feed the poor. See? So, all our exercise in the religious, on a religious frontier rather, I would say, it's being controlled by these two great elements, very, very well done by certain communities, brainwashing us and say, oh, if you don't do this, your life will be condemned. If you do this, you'll have a green carpet waiting for you when you kick the bucket and face to face with God. He'll say, okay, now you can go to brighter world or heaven. So this is how temptations, bribery have started in our religion. Our people, you can see, it reflects in our government, in our businesses. It's an outshoot of religious practices.
So when you spoke about feeding the poor, here I got one question. As our income is improving day by day, we would rather think to improve the standard of living more than standard of giving. So why do you think everybody is doing that these days?
It's the same thing, the hoarding mechanism, that makes you do all these things. Also, the lifestyle is so unpredictable. People like to store for future, for safety. Suppose if my great-grandchild cannot earn money, so let me make it up for now. But they will not make it up for themselves. What will happen to me when I have to face my maker?
That's a right question.
So this aspect of giving is very intriguing actually, very, very intriguing. Suppose your child asks you for something which is not suitable, would you give? See? He deserves something and you don't give it at an appropriate time. It creates problem. Same thing is with the person on the street. He's seeking some help. I need some food. If you see an able-bodied man and say, oh, I need, then you have to think many a times, why is he behaving like this? Can't you work? Then the famous logic comes up that it is better to teach a man how to fish than give a fish. So there are so many viewpoints on all this. One cannot generalize, but by and large, we can generalize one thing, that it is good to give. See? It's like a river that continuously keeps flowing. Then it becomes its nature to go on flowing until she reaches the ocean. Okay. On the way, if a river had the consciousness to think before acting, and if she decides, okay, let me stagnate myself, stop myself here for a while, it will form a pond. Yes. In no time it will start stinking when water evaporates. Same thing. Similar is the situation with wealth. See, as a business person, let us say if you are manufacturing medications, prescription medicine or whatever, non-prescription medicine, and you find out that, okay, the government is allowing 5% plus or minus presence of active medicinal ingredient. That means you can have liberty of having 95% or 105%. Yes. Okay. And you decide, okay, let me put 90% only. But then you decide, let me not do that. Let me put 100%. It's a good thing that you did. But the very fact that you changed your mind, you had a negative idea, it itself is bad. See, for example, if you are running a grocery store, a blind man comes to your store, picks up a gallon of milk or a liter of milk, and he gives you 100 rupees or whatever, and then you give a change. Then you realize, oh, the milk is almost expiring tomorrow. Or let me give 5 rupees less. But then what would happen? At that very moment, some conscience bites you and say, okay, let me not do this. I give exact change, and I also tell him honestly that this milk is expiring tomorrow. Better change the gallon or the liter. It's a great act. But when I become so afraid that what will the society think, what will the community think, that had I given him lesser change or short changed him, or if I had let him go through with the milk that was expired, then I am acting out of fear about my reputation in the society. That is not good. The pharma fellow also manufacturing drugs, because if it is substandard, and if the drug department knows my name will be at stake, and if I am making my decision to provide 100% because my name is compromised, then it's not a good act, even though you gave 100%, but out of fear. Acting out of fear, or again, as I said, temptation to achieve something better, my name should become famous, then it is not good. Yes. Any act, even to please God, even to please somebody else, or to please, it is not a good act. Are you happy with your decision? If you are happy, move on. That should be our gauging point, gauging yardstick.
Very well said, Daaji. So now I would like to ask you few key questions like every human being has got. So basically when we sit alone, or even when we think about some things, first thing they ponder always is, who am I? Where did I come from? And what is my purpose here on earth? And what am I going to do after this life?
Let me put a question to these questions. Okay. Suppose if you get answers, what will you do?
We'll stop pondering. We'll probably try and do what is the purpose.
So your purpose is only to stop pondering?
No. So whatever is given to us, we would probably go ahead and do it.
Suppose one realizes that yes, God is everywhere. Not realizing, but somebody says God is everywhere. God is present. Many questions are asked about this. Is God really there? And when someone gives the idea or the answer, yes, God is there, what would you do about it? What will be your next step? Are you willing to take a next step? Then answers have some value. Suppose if I say, oh, you are this, you are Atman, you are not the body. But your body as well at the moment. You are Atma, which is also true. But what is the point of knowing this? I am Atma, part of God. Okay, it's a big knowledge. But it will be wonderful to feel the very nature of Atma. It will be wonderful what it can achieve once I realize that there is some hidden potential within me. I must try it out. Otherwise, answers on their own are of no use.
Yes.
See, once someone asked a question to my master, is God there? Can you make me experience God? Can you show me God? This question precisely was this, can you show me God? His very serious, very poignant, very thoughtful answer was, suppose if I show you God, how will you know it is God? So even to identify and concur, agree, disagree, I must have the previous knowledge of that entity. So such questions, who am I, does really God exist, they are useless ones. We begin with this hypothesis, God is present or absent, like in mathematics. And through some practice, try to prove it to yourself. Don't mentally argue. These arguments can lead nobody nowhere. Are you able to take the next step once you have the answer, even if it is a stupid answer? Do you have that much of faith in a person who is going to answer you? Then such questions are worthwhile. Otherwise, they are all useless questions, theoretical questions, just for passing time.
Yeah, that's right. So, Taji, what is the concept of sannyasa in the heartfulness meditation?
Well, with this meditation, sannyasa has no place. This sort of meditation is mainly for people who are flying higher with both the wings, material, bhautik jivan, as well as adhyatmic jivan, spiritual life. They have to be balanced. Sannyasa generally means that you have to run away to jungles or run away from your family. Doesn't matter where you go. But is this going to help you in realizing God or finding God? Is God something that is lost that you want to find Him in jungles? It is myself who is lost. I need to find myself, not God. So wherever you are, you can find yourself. Even in your house, running away, taking sannyasa. Who is going to look after your family? Will your parents bless you? Will your wife or children, do you think about them? So sannyasa has no place in Sahaj Marg. Sannyasa does not promote love. Only in a grihastha life, family life, one can learn how to love, how to sacrifice for each other. Sanyasa doesn't teach you that. Sanyasa arises out of selfishness, running away from the family. I can't look after my family. Often most people take sannyasa out of this so much of depth. They run away from life. Grihastha life is the only life where you embrace life, courageously you face it, fight it out and succeed. Only in Grihastha life one can achieve the noble goal of loving. If you don't have a heart to love, forget about God. Forget about even having a family life. It is love that teaches us everything, that prepares us on the path. It is like this, you see, lifestyle when you talk about, what do we mean when we say lifestyle according to? If you are in the West, they have certain way of lifestyle. They had certain way of lifestyle a few hundred years back. We too in India, we have certain way of lifestyle. Every community has a very specific way of lifestyle. A person who is hankering after God, trying to achieve the utmost purity, utmost loving condition inside, his lifestyle should also match with the goal that he is trying to achieve. If one is to become purer and simpler and divine, loving in nature, how can I afford to do wrong things? Running away from the family, abandoning child, abandoning other dear family members. Are we promoting love? Would my parents bless me and say, oh, my son, be happy wherever you go? Of course, they love you so much, they will always talk like that. But we are hurting them in the process. So sannyasa, I think it is counterproductive, it is against nature.
But our religion teaches us like if sannyasa, if we follow sannyasa, then you'll even get moksha in your life. So how far it is true?
If you see our sages in the past, I dare to say you find even one sannyasi who ran away from his wife. Most sannyasis, though those who were in the ashram, saints and sages, they had not one wife, two wives, some of them had three wives. It is the last few centuries only this disease came into our society where on a drop of a hat you leave your house because of the family problems, not out of true love for God.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you so much, Daaji, for actually clarifying so many of our doubts today in this episode. And thank you so much for those enlightening words again.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you once again.
Namaste.